Hello guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're keeping yourself safe. I hope you're all keeping yourself clean because proper hygiene is highly needed. So today we are going to be discussing about writing freedom from our Johnny's textbook, Unit 4, Lesson 16, page 472. I hope you guys are with your textbook. I hope you guys are ready. So get your pen, get your book, get your note, get a seat, and listen attentively because this is going to be an interesting story. So, the title of the story, Writing Freedom, the author, Monus Rayan, the genre, it is an historical fiction. I told us what an historical fiction is all about. This is a story that is set in the past and portrays people's places and events that did happen or could have happened. So, historical is something of the history, something that has happened in the past, about people, about places, and about an event. So, probably it might have happened or would have happened. So, that is all about for historical fiction. So, the essential question for today's reading: what traits do successful people have? Like, what signs can you see in people that are successful? Before we answer the question, let's take a brief reading. Let's take a brief summary about our reading for today. So, today we're going to be talking about Writing Freedom. The Writing Freedom is written by Pam Monus Rayan. This fictionalized biography of the real Charlotte Pacos, better known as One-Eye Charlie, tells the story of the first female to vote in the United States. She became a famous stagecoach driver and a property owner. How she accomplished these things before women were granted suffrage is detailed in the fast-paced narrative geared toward young readers. It should be noted that the author shifted the narrative to the mid 1800s when most girls are not allowed to have the paid jobs. Then, in the history, in the United States, females are not allowed to vote. So, later on, they were given the suffrage, they were given the right to vote. In the United States, females are not allowed to have a paid jobs. Females are not allowed to have a paid jobs. So, how did Charlotte Pacos maneuver that challenges? So we are going to be having a brief summary about how she maneuvered and how she accomplished a goal. The next slide is going to be telling us about that. Okay, in this slide, Charlotte Pacos, she lost her parents when she was just 2 years old, and she was taken to the orphanage home. The head of the orphanage home is Miss Boylan. Miss Boyle loves Charlotte because she's so hardworking and she's so good. She loves to keep Charlotte in the kitchen. So whenever the people who came in search of to adopt kids, whenever they come to get kids, so they won't be able to see her. She's always in the kitchen. So, and she's one of the best worker, so she doesn't want to lose her. In this next slide, Charlotte preferred to work with the horse. She preferred working with the horse. She loved riding the horse. She loved going with the horse up and down. So she loved having a competition with the boys because she loved something competitive. She loved riding the horse and having a competition with the boys. So one of the boys was jealous that she's always winning anytime they have a competition together. So one of the boy went to the general overseer, the owner of the orphanage home, Mr. Milshack. So the boy went to Mr. Milshack and complained to Mr. Milshack that why would this girl come and be competing with us, having a competition with us, and she's always winning. She's meant to stay in the kitchen, not riding the horse. So Mr. Milshark went ahead and stopped Charlotte from riding the horses. So Charlotte got angry and she planned to move. So that is going to be in the next slide. So Charlotte planned to move away from the orphanage home. So she sneaked out and left the orphanage home. So she noticed girls are limited to do some things. So she noticed girls are not allowed to do a lot of things. So she made herself a boy. In the way she cut off her hair, she always dressed like a boy. She tried to talk like a boy. She do everything like a boy. So she tried to look for a place to sleep every night. So in the place she tried to hide herself every night to sleep, the owner of the place, Mr. Ebenezer caught her at that point and told her what she wants. So she said she only looking for a place to stay because she doesn't have a place to stay. So Mr. Ebenezer said, okay, you can come inside and stay with me. They live together, they learn together, they ride horses together. So they started creating the friendship and developed trust for each other. So Mr. Ebenezer he was happy to have Charlotte as a friend. So Charlotte became Mr. Ebenezer's worker. They started working together and they started doing things together. In this next slide, Charlotte worked with Mr. Ebenezer for years, training and learning to drive coaches for his company. They built reputation as the best stagecoach company, and Charlotte changed his name to Charlie. That sounds so funny. She changed her name to Charlie, from Charlotte to Charlie. So everyone knows Charlotte, which is known as Charlie, as the best driver in the country, when she announces her departure to Mr. Ebenezer. Mr. Ebenezer finally told her, I knew from the onset that you were a girl. So Mr. Ebenezer told her and she was surprised. Oh my God, Mr. Ebenezer, I never knew you knew I was a girl, but you never told me all this why. Mr. Ebenezer said, no, I don't want to tell you, but I knew from the onset that you were a girl. So Charlotte told Mr. Ebenezer that she wants to go to California. She wants to go to California. She convinced him that she wants to go to California, and she said, okay. Mr. Ebenezer said, okay, whenever you get a place, I will surely come to pay a visit to you. So they both agreed, and Charlotte went to California. When she got to California, she saw a place to work. So, in the first place she worked, the horse kicked her on her head. So that made her have a blinded eyes. One of her eyes got blinded. So but she never stopped working hard. She never stopped moving forward. She's determined to achieve her dream. So she started moving forward, looking for a way she can try to achieve her dream. She started practicing with one of the eye because it's so difficult for her to ride the horse with one eye. So she started practicing with one of the eyes so she can get mastered and get better with one of the eye. So Charlie is well known in the country. So she started riding the horse. She started saving money. She started keeping money because she said she wants to buy a lot of things in California because she wants to build a way station. She wrote to her friend Howard and she invited him to join her in California because at the orphanage they had always dream of living on their own ranch together. Edward comes to visit, and he decides that after he finishes his work in Missouri, he will return and join her. So Mr. Ebenezer eventually moves out to join Charlotte, and they were helping each other to run the station. She also buys a small piece of adjacent property to help the widow who was going to close her home for foreclosure. Charles continued to live as a man and eventually places her first vote in 1869. So Charlotte achieved all what she wanted because she never gave up. She was determined, she was hardworking, she was focused, and she never depended on anyone. She said she's going to get there, and she finally got there because she was determined that she's going to do it. Even when one of her eyes got blinded, she still moved forward. She stood focused. So don't depend on anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't think you can't get there. Don't think you can do it. You can always do something when you stay focused, when you achieve, when you pursue your dream. So she stood firm, and she eventually achieved her dream. So she was so happy because she eventually achieved her dream. So she continued to live as a man, and she placed the first votes in 1869, even when they said female cannot vote. But she voted because she was living as a man. That sounds so funny. So she was the first person to place the votes in 1869. Charlotte Parkhurst. She was the first person to place the vote in 1869. So don't think you can do it. Don't think you can get there. Don't think you can make it. Don't think you can be the first student in the class. Don't think you can get distinction. Don't think you can get 100 over 100 in your grades. So it's when you stay focused, when you are hardworking. So back to our essential question. I asked us about what traits do successful people have. So in our last lesson, I will definitely gonna ask us, and before then, let's try to listen to the reading for better understanding. So get your book, your textbook open to the page and listen attentively. Thank you.
Writing freedom. In the mid-1800s, when most girls are not allowed to have paid jobs, Charlotte Parkhurst disguises herself as a boy in order to work with horses. She goes by the name of Charlie and keeps her true identity a secret. Years later, Charlie moves from Rhode Island to an area near Sacramento, California. There, she and her friends, James and Frank, drive horse-drawn stagecoaches for a living. Suddenly, a bad accident leaves Charlotte partially blind. Now, with only one good eye left, Charlotte must relearn how to drive a coach. The next day, she overturned the coach completely, but was able to jump free. What was she doing wrong? She knew how to drive a team. She didn't need training with the horses or the ribbon. She knew those things by heart. It was her eye she didn't know. She needed to train her one good eye. She needed to learn how to use it all over again. She started taking a smaller team out every day. First a 2-horse team, then a 4, finally with 6 in the hand. Charlotte had been proving herself her whole life, and she wasn't about to stop now. She didn't even care if Frank and James caught on to what she was doing. They might as well see me trying, she thought. She learned the different sounds the horses' hooves made on different types of roads. If the road was hard, the hooves made a hollow, clopping sound. If the road was soft, the hooves made a dull, thudding sound. She relied on her one good eye to take over for the other. She trusted her senses, and the sixth sense she had for handling horses. Charlotte drove back and forth over her route and memorized every rock and tree. She set a goal for herself. If she made 10 clean round-trip runs, she'd know she was as good as the next driver. After that, she'd just have Frank and James to convince. After the 10th clean run, Charlotte went to James. "I want to drive the stage run over the river." "Now, Charlie, we've been over all that. Me and Frank think. You ride with me, and if you don't think I'm fit, then I won't bother you again," said Charlotte. "What will the passengers say about your eye patch?" said James. "Just tell them it's to frighten off bandits. They won't know any different." "I don't know." Charlotte defended herself. "You know, my reputation. I traveled all this way. Riding coaches is the whole reason I came to California, and I came because you asked me to come. You know I've been practicing. Go by my past driving. That's all I'm asking, and I wouldn't be asking if I didn't know I could drive." Reluctantly, James said, "The first sign that you can't handle the situation, I take the reins. I'll tell you if I need help. Don't go stepping in unless I ask." "Fair enough," said James. "Tomorrow?" "Tomorrow if the weather holds." "I ain't going to be a fair weather driver," said Charlotte. "I want to drive same as usual, like all the other drivers." "Well, I guess you deserve that much. Tomorrow, rain or shine." It was one of those storms where the rain came down in washtubs, but the stage was scheduled to go. The coach was chock full of passengers, baggage, and mail pouches that had to get through. Charlotte was soaked clear through by the time the baggage was secured. James rode shotgun next to her. The wind wouldn't let up, and the rain came flying in every which direction. James seemed nervous. "Charlie, I can't even see the road," he yelled. "Then it's a good thing I'm driving, 'cause I can smell it and I can hear it," yelled Charlotte. James sat back as the coach headed into the storm. The mud was so thick it reached the hubs, but Charlotte still found the road. When they reached the river, it had swelled almost to the bridge supports. Charlotte stopped the stage on the north bank. "Stay inside," she told the passengers. "I'll be checking the bridge." Charlotte took off her glove and carefully walked across the swaying timbers to see if the bridge was worthy. She stomped a few times and listened to the moans of the wood. She felt the swollen planks and pulled on the guard ropes until she was satisfied. She walked back to the stage and told the passengers to get out. "Ain't no reason to risk your lives," said Charlotte. "James, I'm going to walk you and these fine people over to the other side to wait for me there." But a portly gentleman refused to budge. "I'll take my chances inside the coach," he said. "Not on my coach," said Charlotte. "I'm familiar with adventure, young man," he argued. "The bridge can't take any extra weight, and I'm not about to lose my first passenger to that river. Now, step out, or I'll help you step out." Still grumbling, the man reluctantly climbed down. In the blinding rain, Charlotte escorted the group, a few at a time, across the bridge. When they were safely settled on the other side, she walked back for the stage. She got back in the box. Thunder growled nearby. She knew what was coming next. She held tight to the ribbons and waited for the lightning. It hit within a mile, but she kept the horses reined. Trusting her instincts, she inched the horses and the stage across the bridge. The timbers groaned as the iron-capped wheels clacked across the wooden planks. Ahead, the passengers huddled together and watched anxiously from the other side. The river raced a few feet beneath the wheels. The bridge rocked and the horses reared and whinnied. The coach was smack in the middle of the bridge. Charlotte kept her sights on the far bank. She heard the splintering and cracking of weathered wood that meant the bridge was coming apart. She stood up in the box. "Keep them straight on the bridge, Charlotte!" Dashing the water from her good eye and gathering the reins in a firm grip, She cracked her whip and yelled, "Away!" She was thrown back into the box. The horses jibbed side to side, but she held tight to the ribbons. They flew across like scared jackrabbits. The back wheels barely turned on solid ground when the bridge collapsed and dropped into the churning river. "Whoa, my beauties, whoa!" yelled Charlotte. The passengers hurried back to the stage, clamoring about the excitement, while Charlotte settled the team. "We could have fallen in," one woman gasped. "My heart's a-poundin'," a man exclaimed as others joined him. "We would have drowned." "He saved my life," said the gentleman who had almost refused to leave the coach. And by the way they were talking, and James was nodding his head, Charlotte knew there wouldn't be a question about her driving a stage again.
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the reading. Have a good time, enjoy yourself, try to meditate, try to study, try to read your book, and try to be safe. Love you all, take care of yourself. Bye for now.